You'll have a news at Prime. Our breaking news story tonight, the ANC's National Executive Committee deciding that it will be opposing the adoption of the Section 89 committee, or rather panel, that found that President Cyril Ramaphosa may have a case to answer to in as far as it relates to the robbery on his Phala Phala farm. Joining us tonight, Professor Sethulego Matebesi, giving us analysis, our politics editor Lukhanyo Calata, and politics reporter Ziyanda Ngcobo, who's following the latest from Nazareth for us. Ziyanda, when we look at the questions that were put to the ANC's Treasurer General, Paul Mashatile, there seems to be a lot of concern about who the ANC is prioritizing, who it is centering when it comes to its decision over this matter. Is it the party or is it the country? Let's talk about his answers around their thinking behind why they felt this was the best decision to take.
Well, the ANC's Treasurer General claims that the best interests of the country have been put forward here and have been prioritized. But if you listen to the fact that it doesn't seem like they have a plan once the NEC meets again on the 9th of December, which is at the end of this week. And the question was quite specific here. If the Integrity Commission makes a finding against the President, will this NEC reconsider its decision to reject the reports? That was a very critical question, to which Paul Mashatile responded to say that they will cross that bridge when they get to it, which indicates to you that this tango that we've done over the last couple of days could come back again, given the fact that he also couldn't respond to whether or not then, the narrative of the President resigning and the tailspin in the markets also going into freefall as a result of such discussions, whether or not, the President should be held accountable for allowing that narrative to take hold. It tells you that this NEC does not have some kind of a contingency plan. Should also the Hawks, the South African Reserve Bank, and the Public Protector make an adverse finding, it seems that they're going on a step-by-step basis. And whether or not the country's interests have been put forward here, it's unclear at this stage, given the fact that it's not the first time that the ANC closes rank around its head of state. They've done the same with former President Jacob Zuma, and in some instances MPs at the time, such as Mondli Gungubele, saying they should vote with their conscience. Why this would not be allowed? And there's still a view, in particular from opposition parties, that the National Assembly Speaker is shielding the President from accountability. Even with that Integrity Commission report, you'll recall that the President appeared twice already and that there were still many questions regarding this issue. Those questions still remain about, for example, the origins of that foreign currency, etc., and no clear indication on what decision has been made about the President possibly bringing this organization into disrepute, and by extension, the country as a whole, when you look at the political morality that the President needs to, contain as being the first citizen of this country, but also insofar as, the governance and the anti-corruption stance that he's taken since ascending to the presidency.
The irony, of course, or at least part of it, Ziyanda, is the fact that in his meetings with the Integrity Commission, what we understand is that the President has given limited information because some of these matters have been under investigation by different bodies. Professor Matebesi, any indication to say that there will be a different outcome from the Integrity Commission this time around? Because the very same investigations that were underway 3 months ago, or over the period where he last met them, are still underway today, and there's no clarity on when those will be concluded.
Yeah, I still find it even very intriguing that we are still referring to this so-called ad hoc committee as an integrity committee, because for me, I can't see that the integrity committee will come up with anything different, and because already the ANC have taken a stance, and I don't want to go the legal route because that is not my field of specialization. But fact of the matter is, I can't see, even if the integrity committee comes, with adverse recommendations, then the ANC will perhaps come and say, yes, but there's another process that is taking place, and that is the review. So for me, it seems as if we've actually reached a cul-de-sac, because with this particular matter, and that the ANC will from now onwards, henceforth, only refer to the process that a president has undertaken, but not necessarily what are the implications of all these processes on ordinary South Africans.
And of course, when we talk about the Integrity Committee, Lukhanyo, this is a committee that itself has been under great scrutiny, not only in relation to the work that it does, but the extent to which it's taken seriously. And the historical record of recommendations that the Integrity Committee has had and yet have not been implemented, or members simply did not abide by. So the purpose then of the ANC putting the kind of emphasis and weight on the findings of the Integrity Committee as if it has some kind of legal standing in the overall context of the country.
Kathy, I think what's becoming very clear in this situation is obviously that the President as well as the African National Congress are trying to kick this can down the road as far as they can. At every opportunity that is become available, the ANC is, and the President Cyril Ramaphosa himself is trying to ensure that, this matter is moved further down the line and further down the line, and that it's never really dealt with. Now it is him lodging these papers in the Constitutional Court that allows yet again for this process to be kicked further down the line. Now, when it comes to the issue of the Integrity Commission, I think, Kathy, it's not taken seriously within the African National Congress itself. MPs go to it, they tell it whatever it is that they want, and then the committee then makes a decision based on whatever they are told. There's no investigations that take place. There's, nothing more than a committee meeting or a meeting where people sit across the table, where questions and answers are asked. The Integrity Commission also doesn't have any real powers, maybe to subpoena or maybe to its recommendations within the ANC aren't binding themselves. So you have this commission that by name is called the Integrity Commission, but I do not feel, or at least we don't think as the media, that anything has come out of that commission over the last few years that has shown us that actually members of the ANC take this Integrity Committee very seriously.
Ziyanda, throughout the day at Nasrec, you had some individuals that were protesting and all sorts of statements being made. Tonight, after hearing what Paul Mashatile has had to say, do you get a sense that behind the scenes there is an effort to ensure that the next 2 weeks leading up to the Nasrec conference, that nothing happens to scupper even what the set of nominations looks like, or to dramatically change fundamentally who the individuals that are likely to be standing in that conference would be? Hello, Ziyanda. I'm not sure if you can still hear me.
I can hear you, Kathy. Could you just please repeat that question again for me?
So what I asked you was, given what has been said throughout the day with the people that have been protesting outside Nasrec, and then hearing from Paul Mashatile tonight, do you get a sense that there is an attempt to ensure that efforts towards the conference that is taking place in 2 weeks' time are not scuppered, and that the ANC, where it is tonight, is in all likelihood not ready for anything different to what it has already pre-planned as things stand?
Look, the official line is that the conference is going ahead, and I must add that across the factions, everybody wants to see this conference going ahead. Whether or not their various candidates will emerge victorious is another story altogether, but what is abundantly clear is that this organization is divided not only over this Phala Phala matter, but this is just an escalation and an extension of those divisions, if what we saw outside is anything to go by. But even the fact that, you know, it's unclear what's going to happen, you know, just tomorrow with those MPs, the Treasurer General not being clear on the consequences, you know, of those who defy then the party's line of march, which is, of course, as you've been reporting, to defy that independent panel's report. But equally critical is the fact that this organization has not been able to tell the country whether the rejection of the report is on the basis of the fact that the matter is now sub judice because of the President's review application before the Constitutional Court, or whether they substantively, genuinely believe that this report is flawed. And the fact that they can't answer this means what? It's exactly what Lukhanyo was saying, that the can is being kicked further down the road, and every day, each passing day, it's not like the anxiety is going to disappear. Tomorrow it's going to be Parliament. We'll be watching whether the meeting will be virtual, whether MPs in the ANC will publicly go against the line of march. It's going to be again this Friday when the Integrity Commission presents its reports, the seriousness with which the Integrity Commission is taken, and then it's going to be next week. We know the conference begins next Friday, and already the branches and the factions are preparing themselves for this conference. But another, you know, uncomfortable element is the manner in which, you know, some of those who were protesting outside were even making threats of violence, and the way in which the Treasurer General was speaking, it tells you that there is no preparedness for any eventuality in the coming days, whether we're talking about, you know, an adverse finding by the Integrity Commission, whether we're talking about the possibility of an outcome from any of these reports. These questions are still going to remain even on the conference floor once that 55th National Conference gets underway next Friday.
Prof. Matebesi, I'll end it off with you then. What does this say about strategy, political strategy from the party overall?
Well, the political strategy, as my fellow peers have also indicated, is definitely to delay this as much longer than possible. But I can't see that anything will scupper. I mean, the ANC, it will go to that conference, and the ANC will want to successfully complete that conference. So tomorrow, and we've heard from the opposition parties that they will definitely take, you know, the legal route. But even there, I don't know whether they will seek reprieve before the ANC National Elective Conference kicks off, because I strongly believe that perhaps that has also been a strategy from some opposition party members. But very briefly, Kathy, there will be members of the African National Congress, MPs, who might even publicly resent the decision that was taken today, and we might see that even tomorrow with some of the pronouncements that were made, because they realize that they've got nothing to lose, and there's a possibility that they might just not return if Cyril Ramaphosa is elected as the president of the African National Congress for a second term.
Professor Sethulego, Matebesi, Ziyanda Ngcobo, Lukhanyo Calata, will leave it there with all of you for tonight. So then that is just part of the reaction to our breaking news story and the position that the ANC's decision-making structure has taken in as far as it relates to Phala Phala.